Hello and welcome to the $1,000,000 Message. This is your Fearless Friday message with Callie DeBlander Brigham, calling from beautiful Pensacola Beach, Florida. My kiddos are unofficially starting school today. They have orientation from 9 to 12, and then we have a school picnic tonight. And then my freshman and junior, give me a minute, they start school on Monday. So how are you doing? Are you getting back into a rhythm, a fall rhythm? What's that looking like for you? In case it does serve you, I think most of you know, but I do have a time management podcast called Perfect-ish. You can find it anywhere that you find your podcasts. It's also on YouTube. And I do talk about how to have an August reset so that you don't feel guilty about what you did or didn't do over the summer, but that it's just kind of like your bridge into fall. But that's not what I want to talk to you about today. That's just bonus. That's just extra. I was talking to a consultant this week, and she had a couple of guests that were lined up for an event, a virtual event that we had. And when the time came, one of the guests had to reschedule, and another guest wasn't able to be on. She did purchase something, but the consultant was talking to me, okay, I'm trying not to feel down, but how do I handle when things like that happen? And first of all, how brave and courageous to be transparent enough to share that, right? And by the way, I had another consultant who also, I believe, had 3 guests for this virtual event, and one of them got the flu. The other one had a death in the family, and it was her friend who was going to be the third one. So needless to say, there was a lot of reschedules happening. But when this consultant said, what do you do? How do you handle it? What should my coaching be? And how should I do it, do things differently? And I said, first of all, absolutely looking at the skill of coaching. I think that's a critical piece to it for sure. However, what I wanted to share with her is how to have insurance in your business. Have you ever thought about that before? What is insurance for? Insurance is basically a safety net if something doesn't go right. So if something doesn't happen the way that you wanted it to, or something goes off the rails a little bit, or something kind of falls apart, insurance says, hey, everything's going to be okay. Here's what's in place so that you don't lose everything. Here's what's in place so that you can keep going. So when I was a new consultant and I was building my business, and really even well past being a new consultant, but I would get really devastated if something went sideways, if something went wrong, if a guest didn't show up or somebody changed their mind or, whatever. But the majority of it was around my appointments. And I know a lot of you are booking appointments for the makeover contest, and maybe you're using the new AI foundation tool to lead into appointments. So you feel me, right? Well, when that would happen, and I will say especially this was devastating because I was working very, very full-time, and so I had very limited extra time. So when I was counting on, I was wanting to get out of my job and become a sales director in a car, so when I was counting on a party and it fell through, the world ended for me. So I thought, okay, I can't keep going like this. So I've got to figure something out. So that's when I decided I was going to have some insurance plans for myself. And here's what that looked like. If a party that I had scheduled, canceled, postponed, rescheduled, whatever, however you want to, semantics, right? Then I knew that during that time, and I would say a party would take, 2 hours, that during that time that I would, instead of just wallering, like they say in the South, instead of just taking to the bed or, eating a tub of ice cream and sitting and watching TV, my insurance plan was that I would try to get the same results that I was going to get from the party, but I was going to try to do it in a quicker amount of time. And then I could eat the tub of ice cream and waller on the couch. So, for example, if a party's canceled and the party was, from 6 to 8, in theory, then my goal was to get 2 bookings, to sell $200, and to have a sharing appointment, either to have one, to book one, etc. Because that's typically what I would do in that 2 hours. Now, your averages might be different. Maybe you get 5 bookings and you sell $1,000, and maybe it takes you 1 hour. I'm just giving you an example. And I would try to do it in less than 2 hours. I mean, heck, if I could get it done in 20 minutes, then I could do whatever I wanted the rest of the night, the things that I was tempted to do when I was in my feels. So that was my insurance plan for when a party canceled on or rescheduled or whatever that is. By the way, I almost had a Freudian slip just now. I also made sure that I stopped saying things like a party canceled on me, because that sounded very personal. Like the people didn't want to do it because they didn't want to do it with me. When in the reality was somebody got the flu, somebody had a death in the family, something happened. So if you ever find yourself saying that, let's eliminate that. Cancel from your mind. Well, I decided to take that insurance plan and to use that for so many other things in my business. If, somebody didn't return a phone call, or if somebody changed their mind about joining my team, I just created little insurance plans for myself. I guess you could call it a plan B or a pivot, however you want to call that, so that I wouldn't go down that emotional spiral, and then it's so much harder to come back from it, isn't it? So I wanted to share that with you today, that yes, it is very mission critical to work on your skills so that the parties hold more frequently than they don't. Yes, it is great to learn how to close a sale. Yes, it is great how to do a show. All those skills are very important. But what they call the soft skills, the emotional skills, are just as important, if not more. So if you find yourself on an emotional roller coaster and you're only happy and feeling good when things go right, which we have no control over, I thought that this might be a helpful skill for you today. What areas of your business do you find that most stop you in your track? What areas of your business could use a little insurance plan today? The best news is the insurance that we have is free. You just decide how you want to implement it, and when plan A doesn't happen, plan B kicks into effect. All right, my friends. Hopefully and prayerfully you won't need any insurance or any plan Bs this weekend and this coming week, but in case you do, this might serve you. All right, have a great weekend. Talk to you next week. Bye-bye.